Hi, my name is Jack Marchese. I'm owner and lead consultant of Subbox Solutions, and in this video we're going to be going over the marketing influencer data sheet, how exactly to fill it out, and hopefully try and answer some questions you may have along the way. So, I'd just like to say before we get going, if you have any questions for me personally, you can reach me on the Contact Us tab on our website at www.subboxsolutions.com. Or you can see on our spreadsheet here, our Facebook link is right here. So if you access that, you can shoot us a message directly on Facebook. We can have a dialogue there, or just comment on this video and we can talk as well. So I have a lot to go over, so let's try and get through this as quickly as possible. So once you download our Subbox Solutions Influencer Data Sheet, you'll have three different tabs. We have our actual spreadsheet, which we'll go over how to fill over in just a second. We have our LTV Assumptions tab, which helps us calculate our lifetime value, which I know a lot of my clients have questions about, so we can hopefully try and answer that here. And just some directions. So you can see this link right here. This isn't the correct link right now, but eventually this is going to lead you to a video. So if you just click it, it'll take you to this video you're watching right now for future reference. And I may put some notes on here for future reference as well before this video is completed. So let's get started. When I like to find an influencer for my business, what I like to do is go to YouTube. So let's do that right now. We're going to try and find a live example, so we'll see how this goes. And let's say we want to do dogs. That's our business. Our subscription box is all about dogs. So I'll type dog or whatever our niche is, and then I'll just type vlog. So let's do that real quickly, see what pops up. Great. Okay. So you can see YouTube has recommended a little over 14 million results, so you can take the time to sift through all that if you want. We're just going to look at Drew Lynch, but I will just quickly scroll down just to kind of show you have other options. So we have Snow Dogs Vlogs. We see a bunch of Drew Lynch. I'm sure there's others as we scroll down. Gone to the Snow Dogs. So yeah, you can see there's a bunch of different options. We're just going to check out Drew Lynch because that's what YouTube has recommended for us as being the most relevant. So when you get to someone's homepage, if they're a YouTube creator of quality, a reason I use YouTube is because on their About page, you can see they'll have just about every kind of link you would need to fill out this data sheet. And they do, so that worked out perfectly. So let's do a split screen here. Okay, so the influencer's name. His name was Drew Lynch. So that's the first thing we're going to fill out. His blog link. So that could be his website, his blog, whatever it is. So we can see his website link right here. And that is drewlynch.com. Awesome. So we'll punch that in right there. So now visitors per month, or how much traffic he's getting to his site per month. So you might be wondering, Jack, how the hell can I figure that out? Well, I'm going to show you right now. There is a free Chrome extension plugin called SimilarWeb, which you can see I've already downloaded. I will put a link in the description below so you can download this yourself. Again, this is a completely free tool, and it actually has a lot of powerful things. As you can see, it has social media. You can see where the traffic comes from. I can go over this tool in a completely separate, different video. All we're concerned about right now for the purpose of this video is just the estimated visits of how much they had. So last month, you can see SimilarWeb estimates they had about 103,000 visits. So you can just type that number in if you want to just do something really quickly, just as a quick average. But what I would recommend doing is taking the average from all 6 months, you can see right here, and just add them all up and divide by 6, and I'll give you your average visits. You can see he really spiked up this past month compared to last month. So maybe he stopped creating content. Maybe he's been driving traffic to his website through promotions. Whatever it is, he's obviously had a big spike, so whichever number you want to go with. I'm just going to go with the 103,000 just to keep the video short, but like I said, I heavily recommend doing the average. So 103,000. Now, we have his website. Now you can see we want to do the same thing what we did for his website for his Facebook, his Instagram, and YouTube. These are the big three I recommend to find influencers. If you want to add more, like Pinterest, Twitter, whatever your references are, you can add more columns to this spreadsheet and do that yourself, but I don't really typically find that necessary. So, Facebook, you can see right here on his website we have access to every link we would possibly need. So let's just go to his Facebook. And so his links right here, we just copy and paste that. We're going to put that in our little spreadsheet. Now, Facebook follower account. This is just how many followers he has. So you can see there's two different numbers. We have 714,000. We have 734,000. So these are two different numbers. You can really go with any one you want. I personally recommend the follow this one because this is people who have content showing up in their newsfeed regularly of his. So I would go with this number, but again, most of the time the numbers are fairly close, so it doesn't matter too much. So we're just going to go with 734,000, just round it to a nice even number. So you're going to do the same thing for Instagram and YouTube. Just see how many followers they have, what their links are. Just to try to cut this video a little bit short to go over the things we really need to, we're just going to pretend we got those links and did them. And we're just going to make up some follower numbers as well. So we're going to say he had 100,000 on Instagram and 100,000 on YouTube, even though we saw he actually had a lot more. So now here's where we get into the analytics and some of the e-commerce terms that a lot of my clients have questions about. So we're going to try and tackle this as clearly as I can, but if you have any questions, again, please just let me know in the comments. So the first column we want to talk about is total reach. So you can see anything that's in yellow, which it shows on the directions tab, means that it's being calculated for you through an Excel formula. So you should never have to type in any of these numbers yourself. So let's just follow this formula right here, and you can see it highlights which cells are involved in this calculation. So it's saying our total reach is our visitors from his website, which is 103,000, plus Facebook 734,000, plus Instagram 100,000, plus YouTube 100,000. So that gave us about a million and change. So basically what our total reach is saying is this is how much his content has the potential to be seen per month. So this is just, again, this is per one post, about an average. So if you were to work with this influencer with one promotion, one video, one post, whatever you did, and he posted it on all of these different channels right here, then this is how many people would actually see it. So now we have our expected click-through rate and our conversion rate. So click-through rate is pretty much just saying out of a million and change, about 1% are going to see his content and actually wind up clicking the link. So for example, if we have a dog-related business and he winds up sharing our box and he says, if you guys want to learn more about this business, you want to check it out, you want to buy it yourself, click the link in the description below. Or he does the same thing on Instagram, he does the same thing on YouTube, he shares a blog post on his website. So what we're saying is about all that total reach, about 1% of those people are going to wind up actually following through with what he says and clicking on the link. So conversion rate is basically saying out of that 1% of the million and change are actually going to wind up clicking and then actually wind up purchasing. So a conversion means a purchase or a sale, which then is calculated into our sales in units column right here. So if we follow this formula right here, all it's pretty much doing is multiplying our total reach by 1%, which gives you a number, and then you're multiplying that by 1%. So our expected click-through rate and conversion rate, real quickly, let's talk about the 1%. These are about industry average. I've seen some clients have a bit lower, so maybe you want to go a bit lower just to be conservative in your forecasting. But I've also seen some sources have as much as 2%, and some really big YouTubers and really big people that have an intense following or have an intense pull on your audience could have even higher conversion rates and click-through rates. So if you want to take the time to try and guess that individually through each influencer, you can, but I would say 1% is a good average. So it's saying we have about 103.7 or 104 sales. Again, this is an average. This is just something we use to try and collect some data. This number might wind up being a lot lower because it's quite possible that not every single person of his whole audience is going to wind up seeing his content. But there's also some influencers that get more views than their follower count anyway. So this is just an estimate. So assume this is bullish. Assume this is a little high. Now, our lifetime value. This is a very important metric, and the reason I giggle is because I always get questions about it from my clients saying, Jack, how do I calculate lifetime value? Why is it important? Lifetime value is probably the most important financial metric of a subscription business because it's saying, we'll go to our LV Assumptions tab right now, this is how much a customer is going to generate for you in revenue throughout the life of their subscription throughout your business. So this is very important. This is basically just saying how much is one customer worth to our business financially. If that's probably the easiest way I can break it down. And we're going to show you how this calculation is measured, and then you're going to put your own numbers right here that are relevant for your business. So box COGS. COGS is an accounting term which is short for cost of goods sold, which basically means the cost you incur when you sell one box or one unit. That's why it says per unit right here. when you sell a box. It includes the products in the box and the box itself. So for this example, I just said $40. Whatever you wind up curating in your box, I know this varies month to month. Just try and come up with an average of what your box normally costs a month. Again, that also includes the cost of the box itself, not just the products in the box. So try and add that up and put a number in there. So your profit margin as a percent, this is pretty straightforward. I think it's the amount by which sales or revenue exceeds cost as a percentage. So your goal should be no less than 30%. So if your profit margin as a percent is less than 30%, you need to seriously evaluate your pricing or what you're putting in your boxes, because you're probably not making enough money to be profitable. So 30% is a low ball. If you can get it higher than 30%, awesome, congratulations. We're just going with this 30% in this example. Now, average customer lifetime in months. Again, this is pretty straightforward. On average, how many months does a customer stay subscribed to your box? I said 15 months in this example. You could have 24 months. It could be 5 months. It could be different, just whatever your business is. If you haven't launched yet and you're not sure, try and talk to some people in your industry or talk to some other people on, just in the subscription box market, and try and just work with some averages. I'd say 15 is pretty fair, but it's very different for everyone. I've worked with a lot of clients who have month to month, and 15 seems to be about the average. I've worked with some who have several years. I've worked with some who, maybe it's only a couple months, just based on their subscription model. So keep that in mind. But when we multiply all of these things together, you get your lifetime value. So again, you can see our calculation right here. It's pulling from that data sheet, the LTV assumptions tab. That's what that's saying right here. So when you multiply all those things together, your number is going to be different, but mine is $180, which is saying the lifetime value of one of my customers is $180. So why do we need that? We're going to go into that right now. Now we have our influencer cost, or our value of goods. Now, most of the time, an influencer is going to cost you, whether it's they charge to put a post on their YouTube, whether it's upfront money. People who work with you for free, it's never really free. Remember that when you're calculating your expenses. So if you send them a free box, for example, and you don't pay them anything, you still have those costs of the products you're sending them. You have shipping, you have to send it to them. So there's always costs involved. So just make sure you're keeping that in mind when you're calculating this number. Now our expected profit. Now this is really why we work with people at the end of the day, right? We want to know how much money are we going to make. So let's look at this formula in depth. Again, it's pretty straightforward. It's just taking our sales, which in this case, let's work with this example so it's a little easier. Let's say the influencer costs $100. So our expected profit is how many sales they generate us, which in this case again was 103.7. And then, so that's what this number is right here, the N5. We multiply that by our profit from a customer. So that's our lifetime value. That's how much they're going to make us, roughly, subtracted by how much that influencer cost us. Now, again, this is a very simplistic way of looking at this. Most likely you have more costs and there's more things. This is just a very simple way to generalize it, to get an idea of how much money you will make from working with this influencer. So based on all the analytics from what we saw, we can guess, again, this is all forecasting and predictions, that Drew Lynch could possibly make us about $8,000. Now here's, of course, we have the last column. Do we want to work with Drew Lynch? Yes or no? So if you can see, for example, if this person's not going to make us money, let's say we lost negative $10, but this person's going to be in the red. So anyone you're going to be in the red with, unless you're doing it just for a brand awareness thing, you should probably say no. But in this case, we're going to say yes, but also keep in mind, we don't have time to go over it in this video, this is just a way to vet influencers through data and analytics to try and forecast sales. This is not the end-all be-all and the only way you should trying to be forecasting or vetting, I should say, the influencers you want to work with. So I could, again, make a whole different entire video about this, but just some things you should look at is this person a good fit for my business? Is their target audience my target market? Do they make content that's engaging? Do they normally drive sales in the past that have looked good? So, you kind of need to go through your own personal investigation and vetting process through each person you work with. So just because everything looks good here, don't just assume, yes, I'm definitely going to work with that person now. So the last thing I want to go over and just the total column at the bottom. So you can see I leave you plenty of room to tally up as many influencers as you want. It goes up to about 50. Again, if you want to add more, you can, just to try and get like a running lead list. But for the total column, I've made sure to sum up all the columns where you'd want to have relevant information for marketing. So this column right here is our total reach. So once you fill out all the information, this is how many people have the potential to wind up seeing your products through influencers. This is, of course, sales. So how much are we going to wind up selling in units as a result? LTV is pretty straightforward. Again, right here is our influencer cost, so how much all of this is going to cost you, and then of course how much money you can expect to make at the end as a result. So I think that pretty much sums up everything. Again, if you have any questions, you can click right here, the Subbox Solutions banner on the top. That's also on the LTV Assumptions tab. I'll just click on that briefly. And you'll be redirected to our website directly. You can see the wheels are turning, trying to load our website, and there it goes right now. So if you have any questions, again, just go to the Contact Us tab that is in the top right of our website right here, or go to our YouTube and just comment below, or send us a direct message. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and again, if you have any questions, let me know, and thank you so much for watching.